No one's walking away from this clean.
Hey there, beautiful. I know you're probably upset that you're lower on my list than last year, but I can explain. ADC is already a role I do not enjoy playing that much. This is no secret, but Miss Fortune is also one of those ADCs that I do enjoy playing because she has a mix of cathartic damage and tricky maneuvering. Her double up shot is a fun way to poke out your enemies with some absurd damage if you time it right with the health of a minion, or a champion if you're that much of a boss. It makes you feel like the badass marksman Miss Fortune is known for being, lining up a shot that just defies all laws of physics. Her other abilities are pretty standard though, a slow and a movement/attack speed buff. But her ultimate is where that cathartic damage I mentioned earlier comes into play. You just unload a hellfire of bullets in a radius that can encompass the whole enemy team. It is fun to see how much of their health bars she can shred with this one ability and is an enjoyable power trip to feel as an ADC. Other than these two abilities, she's your standard ADC that focuses on auto-attacking. She satisfies the role she was made for. It's just that I already don't like that role itself. But she still has one of the most fun ultimates to abuse in this game. Hell knows no fury like a scorned Miss Fortune.
Only cowards flee their fate.
Caitlyn might have done it first, but Varus will always be the true original sniper in this game. Take aim with your arrow of darkness. Watch as it pulsates with a foul energy thirsting to consume the soul of its next victim. Varus is my all-time favorite ADC to play because he's barely an ADC. Hell, I take him mid more often than bot. He can satisfy the role of an ADC with his passive, which increases his attack speed for every minion or champion killed, thus making it easier to bring the pain. But it also gets you more stacks of his second passive on the enemy. Now this is helpful because the true star of his kit is his piercing arrow. This bad boy can chunk the health out of anyone from a safe distance, if you can aim it. With a lethality build, this arrow can do a disgusting amount of damage even without his second passive stacks. But when combined, holy shit. Varus legitimately feels like a sniper in this game, and each takedown you get from a well-aimed arrow contributes to a rush of excitement as you remain an annoying long-range threat. And if anyone tries to get up close, you always got your ultimate, a long-range snare that can spread to anyone nearby. Introducing hentai to anyone who didn't even ask for it. Varus has a fun kit that emphasizes actually aiming your abilities like a true marksman, and has a method of engaging a teamfight. He doesn't need to wait for anyone else to set up the plays for him, and I really appreciate that about him. Varus is a classic to me. An ADC that is pretty old and I used to play a lot more of in the past, but one that I can still rely on.
Ha ha ha! This never gets old!
Galio is one of my favorite tanks to play because he fits the role of a glorious defender so perfectly. You can charge into the fight ahead of your allies for a beautiful uppercut that transitions into your Colossus Smash passive so effortlessly. Once you're in a fight, you can make yourself the center of attention by taunting anyone in a circle around you. You literally invite people to fight you and focus their attention on you. That's pretty boss. But what I love the most about Galio is his ultimate. Take flight into the air and slam down near your ally, crushing the ground around you and knocking up any enemy that tried to hurt your team. This ultimate is the epitome of team-based gameplay. It is a powerful tool to let you be the savior for your team as you rush in to stop any assault. You can also use this to bait your enemies into jumping one of your teammates. In fact, one of my favorite things to say whenever I'm playing Galio is, Alright, I got my ultimate, so go out there and get caught. It is just an extraordinary ultimate to use. My only real gripe with him is that he can be a little too team reliant. If your objective is to be an annoying CC tank, then you shouldn't expect yourself to be doing any damage. Meaning if your team just doesn't have the damage, then no amount of CC you provide is going to win you that game. Of course, you can always just go full AP, because he does legitimately have really good AP scaling. Regardless, Galio is meant to punish your enemy's poor positioning, bringing an onslaught of damage and CC for your allies to take full advantage of.
I have to focus, but I can't stop smiling!
Lux has one of the most powerful and useful kits in this game. She's got it all: a snare, a slow, a shield, ridiculous damage, and a long-range laser. Lux's abilities work well together to obliterate anything that gets caught by them. They are also very versatile, coming in handy for different scenarios since they are not required to be combined to be useful. You can snare people chasing your allies, zone off your enemies with your AoE slow, shield your whole team as they go in for a fight, snipe some stragglers with your ultimate. Lux is just a very solid pick for a mid laner because of how great she excels in various roles. She is also one of the easiest champions to play, because once you land a snare, you have to actually try to miss everything else. However, this simplicity also makes her one of the most predictable champions. If you see a Lux, you pretty much can just expect either her snare or her AoE slow, both of which can easily be avoided with items, certain abilities, or just movement. But despite this, Lux is too valuable of a mid laner for anyone to miss out on.
They need wisdom. They don't need teeth.
Ah yes, the Swole Mother herself. Alawi is a champion that, with no exaggeration, can 1v5 the enemy team and at the very least will take 2 enemies with her. At the very least. The Lord is good, for she has granted her strength. Of course I'm talking about the literal god she brings to the fight. These tentacles are powerful enough to make anyone a believer, doing % health damage while also healing her for a percentage of her missing health, which stacks with every enemy she hits. Alawi is meant to survive a fight long enough to bring the pain. Ripping out the soul of your enemies just stacks on further damage, since a percentage of the damage taken from the soul is dealt right back to the enemy. So she just basically beats you and your soul down until there is just nothing left of both. This is what's so fun about Alawi. I love tempting fate by challenging more than just one enemy, and her kit encourages me to do so. Whenever I'm playing Alawi, I welcome anyone to gank me. Bring your whole team while you're at it, because that just means there's more people for my ultimate. Seeing each tentacle absolutely demolish your enemy's health bar is exciting and ramps up the adrenaline. Alawi just fits my playstyle for top lane almost perfectly, which is running into a fight and mashing shit until something dies. Alawi's crazy solo potential is what makes her often one of my reliable picks for top lane if I'm looking to end a game and some ranked careers as quickly as possible.
Crush them underfoot.
Hecarim is a living meme of a champion because only one thing makes this man-ghost horsey worth playing, and that's the Predator Boots rune. This was practically made for Hecarim alone. making him an assassin that will literally run you down. You see, Hecarim does more damage the faster he goes, and has an ability that speeds him up, and empowers his next auto attack. Combine this with Predator Boots, which pretty much does the same thing, and you got a legendary point and click delete button. Sure, you can do a standard build that provides you with well-rounded stats that are beneficial at any moment of the game, but why do that when you can be a literal one-trick pony? Bitch! It's totally worth it and does not leave you in a disadvantage if you don't end up killing anyone or are fighting tanks. It is a very simple way of playing him, but it is just too much fun to run up on your enemies at the speed of light. Yes, the enemy can see you coming from a mile away and is capable of reacting accordingly, but that isn't enough to stop me from continuing to pick him just to abuse this rune. His ultimate is also an enjoyable way to initiate a fight. It feels like I'm bringing an army every time I use it, even though I know I'm by myself. And it's also a useful engage since it fears anyone in the radius you launched it, thus making it easier to land that one shot and trample your enemies. Also, the enemy can't react fast enough if you're moving faster than Sonic. So don't be a bitch, build movement speed with lethality and just run in blindly every time. You got my official blessing to do so.